I recently left my kids with my husband for 6 days, and that's the first time I've done that in 10 years because it felt like such a big ask. But I learned that it actually wasn't that big of a deal, and it's very doable for me and them. But I was also very intentional about how I prepped them for that. So in this episode, I want to share some of those things that I did that made this trip way smooth for everybody involved, for either you to do when you want to leave with your kids at home and go away for a day or two or a week, or to apply these principles for when your husband's gone. And in fact, he has traveled loads of times with me here at home, and I want to be this proactive when he goes out of town next time to just make things really smooth. Now, if we haven't met before, my name is Jessica Jackson of the Thriving in Motherhood podcast. I've got 4 kids, 10 down to age 3, and I love to help moms get out of surviving and really create a life that they are excited to wake up to each day. We are starting something new here at Thriving in Motherhood. I am really excited after 5.5 years of podcasting to continually be improving and making it more effective and helpful and personal to you. I have really enjoyed sharing my journey and the things that I've been learning over the last, 5 years, but I feel like to be more effective, more helpful, to make this show more worth your time, it would make a lot of sense to bring your questions onto the show. And so because of that, I have created a way for you to leave a voicemail, 90 seconds or less, asking any question that you have for me. That it could be about systems or planning or survival mode or those hard seasons or things, all those things we talk about for the 3 pillars of thriving. So creating a vision for your life, or creating family systems effectively, or taking care of yourself so that you can pour out into those around you. Homeschooling. Okay. Those things that we have talked about here for 5.5 years, I'm sure you have a specific question. In fact, I hope you do. I had a really good teacher when I was 12 that, shared with me that anytime I had the opportunity to ask a question in any class, to always have one, because that would help me be engaged in my learning and help me get the most out of it. And also that there was probably somebody else in that room that had the same question that just needed someone brave enough to ask it for them. So I'm inviting you to be brave, to take a moment and think, and then go to the link below to ask your question, because I would love every week to have one of your questions to answer it. But that requires you to take a little bit of action. And this is great. This is totally free. I have also opened up 3 one-on-one coaching spots for the fall. I don't think this is going to be a long-term thing that I'm doing, but I have very specific reasons why I want to do it right now. And why it will work for our family in this particular season of life. And so this is going to be a really neat opportunity to create a customized plan for you. I have the Made to Soar Next 90 Days program, which I love, and it's so effective, and it's literally helping women around the world. But if you're someone who's like, just cut to the chase, I want the information that I need to know for my life right now and take massive action and just move forward and fix the problems, to get out of survival mode, to start soaring, to bring those things that really matter to me into my life, then that one-on-one coaching slot is for you. And I would love for you to check the link below for more information so that you can jump in with me on that program, because once the spots are filled, they are gone. I'm a homeschooling mom. I have, tight windows for this type of work, but I'm really excited about this opportunity to work more with you.
Hi, I'm Jessica Jackson, and this is the new way to thrive in motherhood by leaning into who you are, what you love, your unique family situation, and personal mission to create a life that you actually want to live. I want to invite you to join me in saying no to the life of the exhausted supermom, burnout, victim thinking, being pulled in so many directions, suffering through survival mode, or being lost in motherhood, and say yes to building strong families and moving forward on our greatest goals in order to create a fulfilling life that we are excited to wake up to each day and become a soaring mother. This is the Thriving in Motherhood podcast.
Now, without further ado, let's talk about the things that I did to set us up for success for my traveling. So the very first thing that I was aware of as someone who has been the solo parent, while my husband's traveling for a long time, is that it's sometimes hard to get those windows of time to recharge and rest, or also do the essential things. I have some older kids that are pretty independent, but I also still have those younger kids that want to be with you all the time, every moment of the day. And so I knew that was kind of be the first thing, is like how to carve out time and space for him to recharge. The other thing that I knew was going to be a little bit of a challenge is how, I'll say recharge and also get things done. Like he was still working a lot of the time, or not a lot, but some of the time he needed to work sometime each day to get things done. And so that was one thing. Another challenge that I knew we were going to have was that there were some times when he needed to be on campus and in meetings and was like completely unavailable. So I needed to find people to help with that. There were also going to be things that I wanted the kids to do, like we wanted the kids to do while we were gone, still working on their morning habits and their morning routines and things in the evening. And so that was, we needed to find a way that was maybe a little bit different than normal, that they would be more self-motivated to accomplish those things. And then finally, food, like feeding everybody all the time and having them eat things that make sense and doesn't completely wear you out and doesn't completely break the bank. Like, how do you balance all of those things? Okay. So those were some of the pain points that I was trying to solve as someone who has navigated them myself personally while my husband's traveling. So this is what I did to kind of help with those things. And I'm also going to share some of the things my husband added to the mix that worked really well because he had a great time with the kids. So the first thing I did was on the morning that I left, I wrote a note to everybody just thanking them for their support of me going and on this trip. Like that was really important to me. They understood that I valued that they were on my team and that they were helping me to do this. So that was the first thing. The second thing, again, this mindset that I had was, how can I set this up so that they have a great time while I'm gone so I can do it again? And so that I can have fun while I'm gone, knowing that they are having a good time. So the very first thing, I guess, okay. So one of the things that I knew when it came to creating that pocket of time for them to kind of recharge and rest, I sat down and recorded an hour, maybe an hour and a half of picture books that we have. I just pulled some of our favorites off the shelf and sat down with a little bell and went on my computer and you can do this on your phone, but just sat and recorded myself reading the book and grabbed a little bell. And every time I turned a page, I rang the bell so I knew to turn the page. And this was something that they could just get that stack of books. Then I put it all in a bag and I burned the CD that they could put in our CD player and just listen to me read them stories. And I know that they use that not every day, but there were many days where my husband was getting ready to cook dinner and he was able to put on that audiobook, or it was quiet time and needed the kids to rest and was able to have them listen to those stories. Or my oldest daughter would hold up the book for all of the kids to look at and would turn the pages. So there were lots of ways that was used, and I spent enough time and read enough variety of books that it engaged everybody. The next thing that I did was to both create time and also for that motivation is I went to the dollar store and I got loads of different activities. This is not something I normally do, but I got lots of different activities for the kids to do that would keep them engaged for a stretch of time, that would give my husband time to do what he needed to do, but also they couldn't get it until they had done the essential things in the morning, or even some days they use it in the afternoon. So what that looked like was I got them like a gem kit that you like hammer this little cement block thing and find a gem in there. They'd never done anything like that before, so that took up a day. One day they did, I knew that they would be gone for part of the day, and so I got them this thing where you like put these little animals in water and then they grow and you leave them there and they keep growing and growing and growing. So just something totally weird that we would never buy and that we will throw away, but would be something interesting to look at. One day I got them a sticker book that they could do. I got a puzzle that they could work on together. I got canvases with some paintbrushes from the dollar store. Again, like it was $1 for 6 or $1.25 for 6 of them. So very low stakes, but again, just something a little bit different. And I don't remember the last thing I got, but anyway, that was kind of the idea. I just went and tried to find a wide variety of things. I got a bunch of stencils for them so they could use it just on paper. And we have boogie boards that we take in the van or to church, and they brought the stencils, like are reusing those, and we're able to draw on these like little boogie boards with them. So it was like 2 for 1, super awesome. So, okay. So that was great. Okay. Though that was a big success, and they use them sometimes in the morning, but oftentimes in the afternoon as well. That would buy them some time after they cleaned up. It was really effective, motivating, but also creating time and space. Another thing that we did was I arranged ahead of time and asked, and I hate doing this, but it was really important, asked for babysitting and carpooling so that my kids could get certain activities or so that my husband could go have meetings on campus. And I realized like it wasn't that big of a deal. And that's something that I want to be more proactive for myself. Like when my husband goes out of town, to even just get an hour or two, or, a couple of hours for my kids to be somewhere else so I can get some things done that I need to do or just take a break, because I feel like that was a really great recharge option for them. Now, other times that my husband needed to create space, they went to the library and put the kids on the computer, and he was able to bring his own laptop and work for a little while on a few specific things that had to get done while they were playing on the kids' computers. We don't do that often, so it was a novelty thing that allowed him to make some progress on things. So I feel like we have these ideals and these things that we're working towards and living a certain lifestyle. And yet sometimes it's really nice to be strategic about doing other things, these new things that we don't normally do, to make it work, get the things done that have to be done. And to that end, let's transition into dinner. So things we don't normally do are eat out or buy meat, actually. We're not, I wouldn't declare us vegetarians, but we mostly eat plant-based. So one of these other challenges, though, are getting the kids to eat food. And one of the things that they do is when we've got new food, or we've got like lunch meats or hot dogs or things like that we like never buy, they definitely eat it. And so we go for that. So when it came to lunches, they went and got like the day old bread at the grocery store. That's fun, like these fun buns and just different things that we normally get. They got bagels for breakfast. They got some lunch meats. They got cheese, just things we don't normally eat, but they ate it really great. Again, do we have ideals? Yes. But we also had our priorities, and we had a specific goal and a specific reason for this thing. And so that worked really well. Simple dinners, French toast, always a big hit. For pizza night, instead of me making it or Andrew making it, they went to Papa John's. For one night, they did hot dogs over a fire.
I want to take just a moment and share a free gift that I've created for you called 3 Secrets to Do More of What You Love Without Hiring a Babysitter. This workshop is available for you to go watch right now and start taking action on so that you can do more of what you want to do, more of what's on your heart, more of what is important to you. With your children at home. You don't have to wait for them to be in school or for you to have loads of time. There are ways to start moving forward right now. And you can check that out at thrivinginmotherhoodpodcast.com/workshop.
I highly recommend that when you're getting ready to go, that you share every tip and trick that you can think of that might support your husband before you leave. For us, that's like our get ahead plan, which is where I take the kids to the library. We clean the house before we go, so we know we're coming home to a clean home. Chipotle's nearby. We grab it. We can get 2 bowls and a bunch of tortillas for just about $20, which feeds all of our family. Great deal. And then we come home to a clean house, dinner's fed, throw it on the garbage and do bedtime. Like, that's my get ahead plan, and it saves time and energy. So share those things. And that's mine. Going to the grocery store and buying loads of food that they don't normally eat. And for us, that means like buying some lunch meats and cheeses or beef stick, because we normally eat just plant-based. Getting some of those fancy day-old bread for the grocery store, like those makes it fun. And so it's not like complete junk food necessarily, but it's just different than we normally eat. And it motivates the kids to like help cook and prepare food and actually eat it when they do. Something else that I love to do, again, these are things that work really well for me that I shared with my husband that worked for him. I love having a project that I'm working on that gets us all outside, that just mixes things up. So we're engaged in something and we're not just kind of staring at each other at home, in the home. So this time they worked on building a bunk bed. Did they get it done? No. But did it keep them occupied for a little bit and engaged in doing something together? Absolutely. It creates a memory. And also was conveniently working something on our home. The other thing we love to do, like to mix things up, you got to change the environment, get out and go somewhere. Now he went up to me on this big time, drove like an hour and a half, hiked multiple waterfalls with the kids, came home, and that's when they had a campfire and hot dogs before a ginormous rainstorm. Like, I am not that quite to that level yet, But they had a great time, and it was wildly successful, and it was really recharging. And, and our family is happiest when we're hiking. And so I would typically take them to the botanical gardens in town, and we would go hiking around botanical gardens. So, you customize this to your family, but I recommend having some sort of project that's fun, something that gets you out of the house that's fun, a day where you have some time away, again, if it's multiple times, where the children have some sort of a babysitter and the spouse behind gets a little bit of a break. You have food that's just a little bit different, won't make you all feel disgusting, but makes it fun and interesting and new that everyone will eat. Mix in a few really simple or fast food meals that will just preserve energy as you were doing bedtime by yourself night after night after night, and the night watch and the early mornings, right? Just give yourself a little bit of a break with the cooking, the cleaning, and the dishes. And then creating that, again, some of those space intentionally. Have those activities that the kids can use when they've completed things that they have to do. Have it be a surprise. I had a bag of stuff and organized which day was which, but then he had a gift that he would put them in that gift bag, and the kids got to unwrap it every day. So, and he just refilled the bag so we didn't have loads of presents that we were hiding around the house. But that worked really, really well and kept it quite simple for both of us. And then that writing or reading picture books to your kids, or getting them at least audiobooks, but that they can listen to just buy some time when you need it. So I hope, again, this is what works for us, for our family culture, kind of a riff on what we're already doing, but just changes it slightly, simplifies it a bit. But I hope it gives you some ideas about how to take what's already working well in your home and set yourself and your husband up for success when you're parenting by yourself for a couple days or a week at a time, to make it really positive, a little bit different, a little bit novel, and create memories for everybody involved. Thank you so much for hanging out here with me today. Again, I would love for you to ask follow-up questions. Ask them in the comments. Share your best ideas of what you like to do in the comments, and then please go ask a question for whatever topic you want me to cover next week, because I really want this show to be what you need. So ask your questions. I'd be happy to cover those topics. If I don't know, I'll go find a guest that will talk about that thing and ask and learn along with you. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you next week. Today, I'm excited to share with you about the Made to Soar Next 90 Days program. It is a self-paced online course with lots of interaction from me that has transformed the lives of women from all around the world as they have learned to build unique family systems that support them in their own unique life circumstances, that allow the necessary and essential things of life to get done and leave time and energy to do what matters most to them. I'm going to let some women who have been through the program tell you a little bit more about their experience now.
Just mucking through the day was just survival. And then I was like, the thought of trying to do anything extra was like, well, that's just never going to happen.
I think with Made to Soar, I don't know, I was probably hoping that it'd be the magic bullet for morning.
We had no systems in our house. We had no morning, we had no routines.
How can I infuse meaning into my life? And even if I do the same thing, how can I think about it differently so that I'm feeling fulfilled?
And so that was my goal in joining the Next 90 Days, was to figure out how to kind of handle all of these different domains. How do I become intentional with all of these things and make sure that I'm meeting my own expectations?
Now I have systems set in place that things like the laundry, just automatic, things get done.
Because I was able to have the foundation of some of these systems and routines, when things got crazy, I could still go back to those and be like, okay, well, at least the laundry got done. At least my kids got fed. At least I read the Bible and did my workout today.
So it helped me go through a couple big moves and big changes, and to keep some level of stability for the family.
Figuring out how do I homeschool? How do I do it with consistency and some level of discipline? And then how do I build a business and still find meaningful work outside of my home? All of that, I wouldn't have known how to organize it. It was all kind of just like spaghetti in my brain.
With Made to Soar, just gaining clarity about what I wanted my days and weeks to look like, my hours and my spare minutes.
This is how we get to where we want to go, and just changing those expectations has helped me be happier.
you know, I have power to change my circumstances, right? That I can put in new routines. I can solve some of these problems. I can think about things differently and realize that I have power to be in a better place.
Where you are planted, watch the blossoms grow.